None of us is perfect, but there are those who choose a better path and those who don't. What do we choose? Let's begin in 2 Chronicles 21. What kind of king was Jehoram? Righteous or evil like the kings of Israel? Now Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Jehoram his son reigned in his stead. And he had brethren, the sons of Jehoshaphat, Azariah and Jehiel and Zechariah and Azariah and Michael and Shephatiah. All these were the sons of Jehoshaphat, king of Israel. And their father gave them great gifts of silver and of gold, and of precious things, with fenced cities in Judah. But the kingdom he gave to Jehoram, because he was the firstborn. Now when Jehoram was risen up to the kingdom of his father, he strengthened himself, and slew all his brothers with the sword, and divers also of the princes of Israel. Who did Jehoram marry, and was she a likely influence on his disgusting behavior? Jehoram was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, just as the house of Ahab had done. For Ahab's daughter was his wife, and he did what was evil in the sight of Yahweh. However, Yahweh was not willing to make the house of David a ruin, because of the covenant which he had cut with David, and since he'd promised to give a lamp to him and his sons forever. Did God take success from Jehoram because he was wicked and led Judah astray? In his days, Edom broke away from the rule of Judah and appointed a king over themselves. Then Jehoram crossed over with his commanders and all his chariots with him. And he got up at night and struck and killed the Edomites who were surrounding him, and the commanders of the chariots. So Edom revolted against Judah to this day. Then Libnah revolted at the same time against his rule, because he had abandoned the Lord of his fathers. Furthermore, he made high places in the mountains of Judah, and caused the inhabitants of Jerusalem to be unfaithful, and led Judah astray. How did Elijah the prophet warn Jehoram in a very frank letter? Jehoram received a letter from Elijah the prophet, which said, "This is what the Lord, the God of your father David says. You have not followed the ways of your father Jehoshaphat, or of Asa king of Judah, but you have followed the ways of the kings of Israel, and you have led Judah and the people of Jerusalem to prostitute themselves, just as the house of Ahab did. You've also murdered your own brothers, members of your own family, men who are better than you. So now the Lord's about to strike your people, your sons, your wives, and everything that's yours, with a heavy blow. You yourself will be very ill with a lingering disease of the bowels, until the disease causes your bowels to come out." How did the Lord fulfill his prophecy against Jehoram? Moreover, the Lord stirred up against Jehoram the spirit of the Philistines and the Arabians who were near the Ethiopians, and they came up into Judah and invaded it, and carried away all the possessions that were found in the king's house, and also his sons and his wives, so that there was not a son left to him except Jehoahaz, the youngest of his sons. After all this, the Lord struck him in his intestines with an incurable disease. Then it happened in the course of time, after the end of 2 years, that his intestines came out because of his sickness. So he died in severe pain, and his people made no burning for him, like the burning for his fathers. He was 32 years old when he became king. He reigned in Jerusalem 8 years, and to no one's sorrow departed. However, they buried him in the city of David, but not in the tombs of the kings. What did Jesus explain would ultimately happen to wicked people who do not repent? Again, the kingdom of heaven's like a fishing net that was thrown into the water and caught fish of every kind. When the net was full, they dragged it up onto the shore, sat down and sorted the good fish into crates, but threw the bad ones away. That's the way it'll be at the end of the world. The angels will come and separate the wicked people from the righteous, throwing the wicked into the fiery furnace, where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. None of us is perfect, but there are those who choose a better path and those who don't. What do we choose? You decide.